Hi, I'm Tom, and I've never seen the Titanic, but I have seen The Room at least 3 times.
And I'm Sean, and I think Forrest Gump is fine. There, I said it.
And this is Flicks and Flops, the podcast where we watch movies, talk nonsense,
And pretend to know what we're doing.
grab your snacks, lower your expectations, and let's ruin some cinema together.
Because nothing says film analysis like two friends arguing over whether Nicolas Cage is a genius or just bored.
And welcome back to another episode of Flicks and Flops. Sean actually had a great recommendation for this one. Sean, you're like carrying this show, you carry this podcast on your back. And
No.
I'm just here for the vibes of it.
No. You're literally the one who pushed for it, man. How can I like okay, wait. Are we really starting the episode with like stroking each other's egos? Is that the route we're going here? Like I
It's
mean, I'm
worth it a
cool
little
with
bit.
it. I'm just checking the till here, you know. That's all.
I've heard checking the till. I've heard checking the temperature, but checking the till is kind of crazy.
Bro, you never seen that scene from Succession with Tom and the Tucker Carlson and like stand-in?
Oh my God, I forgot
Uh-huh.
about that.
Uh-huh.
That's a good deep reference. I like that.
I mean, that's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm here for.
Well, the other day, Sean recommended that we should watch Novocaine, which, starting right off the bat, this movie has two nepo babies in it, which is crazy. One, you have Jack Quaid, and then you also have Jack Nicholson's son. Can't remember his name.
Ray Nicholson.
Honestly, and Ray Nicholson looks just like his dad. It's kind of crazy.
It's like it's actually like really uncanny how similar they look. Like, I mean, some people you can tell. I mean, like Wyatt Russell and Kurt Russell's another one where like you can see it, but like with them, it's like it's dead ringer, man. And it's funny because he's like been in like movies for a bit, but he's only really blown up as of late with this and Smile 2, I believe. That
Smell
was
2 just completely flew under my radar, to be totally
No,
honest.
apparently like those movies are actually good. It's really weird that those movies are the definition of like what a horror movie should be, like a bad horror movie. Like you think of that and it's like that sounds stupid. Like literally right before I got on for this episode, I saw a trailer for an A24 movie where um it's screen life, but the premise is that they're recording a podcast and they're hearing ghosts and like demons and the
All you had to say was Screen Life, and I'm getting PTSD of War of the Worlds and Unfriended.
I thought you'd enjoy that. Also, a fun fact about Ray Nicholson: he's played two characters in shows also named Ray.
You know what? I love it when actors do something like that. Charlie Day was the same one. He goes by Charlie, and It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, it's true. Don't they mostly go by name? Well, not all of them, but anyways, we're off track. But
Were
that's
we ever
okay.
on track?
No, we weren't. But no, like you got two nepo babies off the bat, and like Tommy and I, like a lot of the time in this episode, I'm like, dude, is this like a pure action comedy in like 2026? Because like I almost forgot that like we could do those because nowadays it's like action movies can have some comedy, but this one it's like it's intentionally, you know what it kind of gave me the vibe of a little bit of like there was a lot of like Brooklyn nine nine whatever type
Yeah.
humor in it, like kind of like which it could ground itself in like seriousness at times, but also but I mean the heightened reality of this. I mean like the amount of stuff we're gonna get into about the concept of a dude going on a fucking crazy warpath while having a disease that leaves him unable to feel pain like that. God, that right there is like a slam dunk. Like could you imagine being in like the writers room pitching that, being like, okay, so we put quirky white guy um, into a crazy adventure pseudo buddy cop when they bring Jacob Batalon, aka Mr. Sex, aka Ned, into the or sorry, the CEO of Sex. I'm sorry, I
Give him
displayed
his
him there.
proper title.
Yeah,
He's in the C-suite.
he is. He is. He grinded to get there. You know, I mean, what are you gonna do? But like at first, Tom and I were like almost like off put by it, but not in like a way where it's like, okay, we're still liking this, but like, did they actually pull off like a real action comedy, which is funny because one of the last times I saw them pull this off was a similar movie, Nobody, with Bob Odenkirk. And I mentioned that a few times and like, wow, this movie really reminds me of that. I mean, obviously different premise because that movie literally like is kind of like, okay, what if John Wick like had one-liners and shit? You know, which I mean, at the end of the day, isn't John Wick really just the eventual continuation of our Lord and Savior John McClane? But anyways,
I'm up for that debate anytime.
yeah. But no, I mean, like this movie nailed the landing. Like honestly, knowing that it was going for a pure comedy standpoint, because like Tom and I immediately off rip were like, does Jack Quaid play the same person and everything? Because why the fuck is he acting like Huey, like from The Voice?
Yeah, it's kind of one of my biggest gripes about Jack Quaid. Like, Dennis Quaid, his father's great in everything he's in. And don't get me wrong, Jack Quaid is very talented, but it's just like he's kind of the same character in everything he's in. When you see him in a movie or a show, he's going to be that reserved, nerdy, quiet white guy. It's always like, oh, hey. And like, absolutely loves his girlfriend or his wife to like a crazy amount. He's
Mm-hmm.
always that same dude. So I was like, oh, we're getting another one of these. But the premise of the movie is very interesting, and I know you touched on it a little bit there. That he's got this disease, CIPA. I cannot remember for the life of me what it stands for.
Don't worry, I got it pulled up. It's
Oh, you got the Google.
congenital insensitivity to pain with anhydrosis, which I gotta say, never heard the word. I've heard the word congenital, but
Yeah,
not
I've
anhydrosis.
heard
That
conjugal. Is that that's not the same though?
well, we'll have a visit after this, but yeah, like one of those things where it's like definitely a shower thought moment where you're like, wow, like I wonder if there's someone that like actually doesn't feel pain. And like I'm sure like one of the like writers or director of this movie like got high as hell and was like, dude, nice. Like
I mean, it's a super interesting concept because he's not like this fighter. He's not like an aggressive
no.
dude. He's never been like, oh, I feel no pain, so I'm gonna go into like boxing matches and take dives and then get a bunch of money or anything like that. He's an assistant manager at a bank. Like he's literally just an average everyday dude. And he has like one of the tellers of the bank. He meets her and they kind of like almost instantly have like a night of passion together.
Like
Which
too instantly though.
it
Like
was
too instantly.
way too quick. And it had this whole like weird thing too where you're like, have they known each other before? This feels weird. Like it felt very rushed and especially like awkward in how they did it too, where she's like, you can't feel pain, but can you feel pleasure? It's like it was a really just out there.
Forgot about that line.
It was such a crazy line that I was like, I don't know. I mean, is the disease you can't feel pleasure either? I don't know. No one's asking these questions.
But then you realize as part of like the comedy aspect of it slash like kind of almost the like dark twists of it, because I will say for as like cringy lines as that, a lot of them are intentional and I feel almost like kind of like mocking like movies that would take it seriously in a way, because Tom and I were immediately catching on to the fact that it was a red herring, but I kind of feel like the filmmakers wanted you to catch on to it in a way, just because like we know that I mean, he explains his backstory pretty quickly that like because he had parents that like freaked the fuck out about his disease and basically like sheltered him even more than he already would have be. Like, dude never even had solid food when like, yeah, he's at a risk of like biting his tongue out, which is funny because like I literally was like, are they gonna say like he can't eat solid food because like because if he can't feel pain, what if he bites his tongue? But like, and of course they did it. But like it's like they take that and you think, okay, this guy is like that sheltered that he's not catching on to the fact that clearly something is a little weird about this chemistry and as she's coming on to him. And like, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can kind of get a sense that she's like starting to get more into him, but like off rip, it's kind of like, huh, that's suspicious. That's weird. And then you
It,
find out that it is weird later on.
I mean, he definitely was strange, but like I don't know, especially with when they're talking about like the whole cherry pie, and he's like, "Oh, I can't have solid food because what if I bite my tongue?" Like that whole thing. And then she goes, Yeah, that sounds really bad, but, like, have you had pie before? After he immediately is like, "I don't think you understand." The early goings of the movie are kinda clunky, to be totally
Agreed.
honest.
Agreed.
Like, they try to set up something interesting, but it's a little unorganized in how it's done.
Mhm.
So you have that whole intro of like, oh, he's the assistant manager at the bank. He's trying to, or he's a credit union. I think it's one of those because they said members, so it's either credit
Yeah,
union
it's
or
a
a
no,
bank.
it's a trust credit union. It's a credit
Yeah,
union. You're
credit
right.
unions.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Hey, but like they had that whole thing where they're introducing him and he's trying to help this other guy who's rip off Samuel L. Jackson, try to do his whole thing of being like, oh my family, we're gonna lose our shop, and he's like, I'll cover you until the holidays. And then all of a sudden, the movie kicks off. Probably about like I think it's roughly 20-ish minutes in, and this is not a long movie, by the way.
No,
So
it's like a
it's like an hour
hour
and a half.
40-ish, yeah.
Yeah. It's a short movie, which is good because I think a movie like this needs to be tight. And it
Mhm.
was. Like, I think the early settings of these movies often struggle because they have to set something up, but they know they're just mainly people are here for the action.
Yeah,
But when they
for
get to
sure.
the action, it is visceral and it's great. And it's at many points in the movie, I kept being like, did the guy who made John Wick make this? Because it's got that same kind of vibe to it of grounded combat in a sense
Mhm.
with enough over the top. Like, I think it was a good contrast to have Jack Quaid be the one to try and rescue the girlfriend or the girl that he banged that one night.
Yeah, the girl they like like, "We're not putting," which literally they literally make fun of that though, and that's
Yeah.
like halfway through is when I'm like, "Oh wow," like they're actually like fully leaning into the comedy thing because like there's that scene like after he fucks up the guy in the kitchen, which I'm sure we'll go into more detail about that, but um the woman cop is literally asking him like about like, "Oh, is this your girlfriend?" He's like, we're not putting a label on it." It's like, dude, like you you like basically had your relationship went from like 100 to like 5,000 in like one night with this girl, like,
And
which
after one night, would you really risk your entire life to go like save a stranger and hijack a cop car and take a cop's service weapon? You're
yeah.
guaranteeing yourself like life in prison to save this one person who's like interacted with you in a normal way. But I don't know. The premise of that is not super well buttoned up, but I love the action scenes and also the comedy aspect was actually pretty good. Like they had this whole sequence where they're trying to see if they can contact Jack Quaid. So the
Mhm.
cops are calling and they're like, they go, "Oh man, he just killed this guy. There's no way he's gonna pick up his phone." And then immediately it's him picking up his phone because they call him to try and trace. And he goes, "Hello," and it's just like super It's like to me, it didn't need to be done, but I loved it because it was the right bit of comedy where it's kind of stupid and insulting the whole idea of being like everybody knows that if you commit a crime, throw your phone away, destroy your SIM card kind of thing because he's just a normal dude who got himself caught up in this. And if the cops called on his phone, he's gonna pick up as a normal person would. So like
And that's what
I
convinced me that it was a satire. That's what convinced me of like a satire of like action movies that play it like too ridiculous, because every time the movie does something ridiculous, it makes a point to like make fun of that. Like for example, not to cut you off, but the torture scene um after he killed the guy in the kitchen, the brother like catches him in the house after he got like by the booby trap, and the way that they play off the whole like um sibling getting revenge, like I'm gonna enjoy this, but like the way
This is
they
what we
play,
used to do in special forces.
you could tell they're just like making fun of him and be like, this guy is an absolute clown. It was just funny how they kind of played that off. So
I like that too because I think it was like they're trying to show that like the bad guys in it. I actually wrote it down. They felt like super edgy and not fleshed out, but I think that's on purpose almost
yes,
because like
100%.
so many of these people, these kind of movies are all the same. Where it's like, oh, I gotta save up my money. I gotta rob the bank to get my daughter the surgery that the insurance won't pay for, or it's like something overly complicated. You know what I mean? Like it's always something
Yeah, dude, like
ridiculous.
if I don't make $5,000 and get a crocodile's tear from the Andes, my daughter is not going to be able to go to the prom or some stupid shit like obviously a little more serious than that, but it's like
Or they're like, "Oh, it's my one big score and then I'm walking away. This is the last
which
one."
is funny because that was literally Crime 101 last week, last
Yeah,
podcast.
so, like, it was nice to have that little bit of, like, kinda mockery towards it where
Yes.
the whole time the bad guys, you don't even know what their motives are, they're just there for the money, and they
No,
never
they never
explain
talk about that.
anything.
Wait, they never even really talk about the escape plan. Like, I mean, we find out he's going on the boat, but it's like that's the funny part. It's like so many movies they'd focus and like have scenes of them being like, "Oh man, the world hated us." Good, like da da da, etc. And it's just like this movie doesn't really play with that. I mean, even the fact that they mention, even the fact that Ray Nicholson and Amber Midthunder's characters are siblings, like they don't even really focus on that much. Like they don't even
Yeah.
like feel like siblings to be honest. But like, I mean, maybe they were adopted or something. I don't know. They don't cover it. But like that's the thing. They don't. It's one of those movies where the way they keep the pacing and the way that they like point out that it's like a heightened reality and that like these characters aren't. You're gonna get like a good product, but you're not getting like a ton of depth to the characters, and that's what it feels intentional, right? And
I
it's
mean,
not in a way where but it's well done somehow. I don't know.
it's kind of not in an insulting way, but it's kinda schlocky in a good way,
Mhm.
right? Like, it feels like it knows what it's trying to do, and it sets out to do its job. So it's not trying to be this super serious, super dark movie. Like, I think where it really shines are a lot of those action scenes. So, like, that first one we've mentioned a lot, that the one in the kitchen
Yeah.
when, Jack Quaid finds the first bank robber and he's, like, following him along. He gets into a cop car, he, like, chases him down, he finds him in the kitchen. They get into this fight, and the bank robber is, like, beating the shit out of him, throwing him around, and meanwhile, Jack Quaid the whole time is just like, "I think we can talk this out," as he's getting, like, punched over and over, getting the shit kicked out of him. The guy's like, "What is wrong with you?" And he just keeps going at it. He has no training, though, so he's just knocking things over, and it leads to a great unbelievably good use of not feeling any pain is this police officer's weapon gets knocked into a deep fryer. And obviously the bank robber's like, I'm not reaching into there. I will hurt myself majorly. And as Jack Quaid is like, my life depends on this, he reaches into he reaches into the deep fryer, pulls the gun out, and blows bank robber's brains right out of his skull.
Yeah.
And you see like the makeup and the effects in this movie. Like, the way they do all the injuries are unbelievable. Like,
Until the end with the shitty CGI.
oh, we'll get into that.
But
Don't
we'll get
don't
it. We'll
trust
get
me.
there.
We will
But
get
it's
into
like,
that.
damn. Which now I'm thinking like, fucking a. Was that intentional too? Like, damn. Like, how many like 5D mind games am I like supposed to play with these filmmakers, dude? Like,
But, like,
what?
when they show his hand, it's, like, pink and, like, skin's falling off of it. It's
Ugh.
really, really well done. Like, I think a lot of other people would not have thought to go that extra mile, but it's like it looks like they honestly researched what it looks like what would happen if someone stuck their hand in a deep fryer. And it's really just unbelievably well done in that aspect. And then it just gets more and more gruesome where you have that whole scene of, Jack Quaid's trying to find out more about the bank robbers. So he goes to a tattoo artist who is like some criminal tattoo
The
dude.
most, like, generic, like,
Yeah.
big boss, like, this dude, like, literally looked like he could, like, eat you alive, like, let
He's like
alone punch the shit out of you.
he's like this, like showing up massive. He looks like that meme where it's like someone stands in the doorway, they're like, Mom said it's my turn on the Xbox. Like he walks around like that. He kind of just like he's huge, giant. And at one point,
Literally.
Jack Quaid gets thrown into some glass, and they do some really creative things with the fights in this. Like,
So creative, like, oh my god. This is one of those movies where they take the premise and they push it to its absolute limits, and it always feels creative and unique, and it's like sometimes you can predict what they're doing, and other times it's like, "I would never think of that," and that's why I think that's where I started to think it was a satire of the kind of like John Wick genre because okay, the whole premise is that John Wick is able to get himself out of all these impossible situations because he's like super trained and can use all these guns and weapons and etc. and yada yada and is like in peak physical condition. Whereas in this movie, he has no fucking training, never even shot a gun. Dude is as mild mannered as fuck. But just because of his pure willpower, pure lack of fucks, and the fact that he can feel pain. I mean, damn, dude, this guy was creative as hell. But I mean, like, that's the thing. That's the one benefit of that he kind of touches on about like being sheltered by his parents like that. But because he was so curious about his condition and like so deep into the introspection that like I mean this dude tattooed a whole mural onto himself, which Tommy and I spent at least a solid 10 minutes being like, how the fuck do you tattoo yourself? Like was
It
this
doesn't
dude
make
like in the
sense.
mirror like that? But then again, dude, like I don't know, maybe it's supposed to be like that doesn't make sense. Like and
It's
the
supposed to be
art
meta that he's a
quality,
badass.
like bro, like I know humans have create are like capable of like plenty of art, but like what the fuck are we doing here? But anyways, but it makes you think, okay, if this guy's willing to tattoo his whole body, like yada yada, like what you got to think maybe to an extent. Obviously, he hasn't done this crazy stuff before, but he's kind of have to have pushed the limits of his like disease, his condition, to try some of this stuff. But no, like it's literally like the antithesis of John Wick, but it's perfect for that.
It's so good. Like when he gets thrown into that mirror, right, and all the glasses around him, he takes down this big dude by punch. So Jack Quaid punches his own fists into the glass on cement repeatedly to get glass knuckles. It is like the most hardcore thing, only to be topped by later in the movie. He kills a guy when his Jack Quaid's own like arm bone is sticking out and he stabs a guy with it, which is the most
through the
metal thing.
jaw, through the jaw to the brain. Crazy shit.
But like
That's the most creative death I think creative kill I think I've ever seen in a movie. That's like straight out of Mortal Kombat, but like plausible in real life somehow. I
it
mean,
was
obvious like
my only thing is like later in the movie, it feels like the middle portion of the movie is really tight and really focused.
yes.
And it has those right elements of comedy in it too, of like, him he's going into the booby trap house and all these booby traps are coming in. And he's like, ah, shit, I got an arrow through my leg. Or it's like, oh, this morning star just went in my back. Like all these kind of crazy things. But I feel like it loses the focus in the last like 30 minutes of the movie or so.
Mhm.
Especially like they get to a point, Jack Quaid finds where the teller is, the girl that he was looking for, and he finds the final bank robber. And they both kind of end up in this like ambulance chase.
Like the
And
most generic like dude makes his like you think you killed him like the fucking cynical cops like well, I fucking finally go home and watch like all my children with my wife or something like which by the way Matt Walsh that character actor man the pet like I love that the way they entered like the cop element into the movie is they have like two caricatures of like cops in movies. You have like cynical like joke guy, and then you have like optimistic believes in the system but plays it kind of tough like woman cop. Like the way like I loved all of their scenes, but
dude,
like
Matt Walsh shows up and does a great job in everything. Like anytime he's in a movie, you're in for a good time because his roles are always wild. Like
yeah, like and one of those guys who like you would never think of his name, but you'd see him immediately and be like, "Oh, dude, this guy's funny as hell in like everything he's in."
Veep, Community, like he's in everything. And you know what? More power to him too, because anytime he shows up in anything comedy related, it's gonna be pure gold. And I love that he's like also like, oh, I picked the bad week to stop drinking. Like it's all the classic tropes of a cop who's just washed up and done with it all. But like when you see Ray Nicholson, his whole thing, it just felt so over the top. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
almost
I feel like he was like the John Wick stand-in type because this dude was invincible to everything. He got fucking defibrillated while he was driving.
defib.
Listen, man, I have a lisp. Okay, if you make fun of me, you're being an ableist asshole. Fuck you. Anyways, so he but anyways, no, like, dude, I think that was kind of intentional though. Like they made this dude like invincible final boss McGee. Like not only did he get hit by a defibrillator, but like the fucking ambulance goes like badoom badoom, like flips over like four times, does everything except the generic like blows up like thing. And dude is just standing right back up like nothing happened. I mean, granted, like so was Jack Quaid, but like, the whole gimmick is that he doesn't feel pain.
I mean,
But
it
like
was so over the top though. Like he
I
gets up,
agree. No, I agree.
and they have that huge fight. And keep in mind, the after he's been defibrillated, I can't even say it, so I don't know why I'm giving
Yeah,
you a hard
fuck
time.
you. Fuck you.
I'm
Okay?
like, how do you
Dude thinks he's like like a linguistic master, man. No. Like say that 5 times fast. Good luck, dude. Like
after he gets defibrillated, right? Is that the word? Yeah, you don't fuck it.
defibrillated? Nah, bro. Like I'm actually losing my mind.
We're crashing out. We're crashing out. He
Uh,
so after he gets shocked, right? And he gets shot before in the chest. He gets shocked. The ambulance flips, and then he still fights. And then he gets shot some more, probably like 10 times by this point. He's still fucking going. It's unbelievable. And he gets stabbed too.
and this
Like,
is and by the way, like he had gotten like shot before this. Like
yeah, it
shot.
it feels like
So,
that was just too much. Where I'm like, this is just insane now. Like,
yeah.
at a certain point, it's almost like, does he not feel pain? Like, what is up with this? It's like they needed to kind of set some ground rules of being like, okay, this guy is crazy, he's tough, but to have him be able to deal with the same amount of pain that Jack Quaid does felt really just unnecessary.
Yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree, and like he was just like such a generic psycho, which is great because he can channel the power of his dad for real. Because this dude was psychotic, and like I just love. I mean, dude, one thing that like I mean, there were so many moments where I could say like, okay, I think I understand that this is like a satire, but the fact that all of them are so stupid, and when I say all of them, I mean the bank robbers are so stupid that even after robbing the place, even after like literally setting up a plan for him to be the patsy to get them into the bank, right? With the vault and with the whole setup of Sherry, his love interest, like who got a job at the bank, becoming like the way in. How it takes till Ray Nicholson, and not even initially at first, like he kills the two bank guys. They don't recognize the two robbers. They don't recognize him, and then finally, he's like, "Oh, you're from the bank. Like you didn't like fucking just like knock this dude out and bully the like how dumb are you guys?" But like I don't know. It was just yeah. I was getting a little like worn out. I mean, I think it won me back with like the final kill and like some of the kills were still unique. Like don't get me like or some of the ways they were attacking were still like really creative. But I'm kind of like okay. Like I've suspended my disbelief a lot as far as the fights are, but like this dude like ate a mushroom like a star in Mario and is like invincible right now. Like what the fuck is going on? Like
Well, speaking of Sherry, I didn't feel like the chemistry between her and Jack Quaid was really that good in the movie. It felt like I get the whole and beginning is supposed to feel like it doesn't make sense. Like maybe something is supposed to feel wrong. But even later in the movie, when he shows up to like save her, it still felt forced. Where she's like, "Oh, he showed up to save me. Now I have to save him." It's like,
interesting. I didn't feel that way. I think you and I actually diverge. I actually didn't feel that way. I mean, I didn't think it was like believe me, I've seen much better chemistry. But like, I mean, I think especially towards the end, you get us like when they're in the prison. I think it's there. But that's interesting. I can see your take on that because I think part of her is trying to rack her brain around it because like you can tell there's inklings of her being into it, but I don't know. It's kind of I wouldn't say she's a great person because I think the only thing that really turned her against the whole bank robbing plan is that um she didn't think anyone would get hurt. So she's like, "Oh, at that point, no one gets hurt. Fuck it, we'll just rob the bank, whatever." Um but once Nigel the like dude, that guy's voice killed me. That guy
it was wildly high.
yeah, no, like when that guy spoke I was like, "Whoa."
It
That's
sounded like he
crazy.
just had a bunch of helium balloons, and
Yeah,
he's like
literally.
a full-grown adult, so you're like, "What the hell?" Like,
Literally, though. But, like, that's what turns her like, I don't know, it just and I mean, I don't know, sometimes I felt like they had it, sometimes they didn't. I mean, I thought great performances all around. Like every I don't really think there's any bad acting in the movie. Like, everyone kind of plays their part, and I think everyone kind of like plays with like the heightened reality, like the, unseriousness of it, but never like playing it too unserious. Like just played a perfect line of like playing it straight but also like being funny. Which is like the emphasis, which is like proof of like, some strong acting. I can't believe we haven't really talked more about the CEO of Sex, because the fact that there's like a whole twist of him being like, well, it was funny you said it. You're like they're playing this like made up video game, but they can't even have like World of Warcraft. They just made up some random MMORPG for the thing. God bless
classic
them.
movie trope where they're like, "We can't afford the rights to any game, so we just made up a fake game and they're playing it." And then they have this whole thing of him having like a gamer PC setup. I mean, at least they tried to that point. But, you know, having the CEO of Sex in there was unbelievable because it's like you know that man's voice. The second he's in a movie, you can recognize him because you're like, "Oh, it's his name is Ned Leeds, isn't it?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
in that, yeah, but his actual name is
Yeah.
Jacob Batalon.
Oh
I'm
no, his
probably
name is
butchering.
Roscoe in this.
Well, yes, I'm saying the
Yeah.
fucking actor's name.
Yeah.
Are you fucking with me?
Maybe, I don't know, I've lost the
Okay.
plot.
No, I know his name's Roscoe. Okay, continue. Be my guest.
But he was actually really good in this, but they kinda hinted the whole time, like, you know that he's bald, right? Like, everyone when you watch this movie, when you picture him, he is bald. He's a bigger bald man. Not there's anything wrong with that, but as you're watching it, they very much drive it home that he's like, "Oh, yeah, so I have a Harley, and, oh, I'm built like Jason Momoa, and I have a ponytail." And you just know where this is going from the second they say it, because you're like, when he shows up in the movie and he's like, "Oh, my bike's parked out front." I said to Sean, "There's no way he has a Harley."
No way. No chance, right?
And it's like he has all this biker gear. It's like it's a Vespa.
And the helmet, by the way, kills me. It's the most like generic badass, like, yeah, bad to the bone. Can you imagine like what? Well, I mean, we literally see someone drive with we see him driving it with the helmet on. It's like this looks
It
ridiculous.
goes like a max of 20 miles an hour. And they even reference too, like when he saves Jack Quaid, he's like, "I thought you said you look like Jason Momoa." And he goes, "I said I kind of look like Jason Momoa." You know, I kind of love that. That it's just such a throwaway line. He's like, "I said I kind of look like him," and he goes, "They're like, isn't he a very unique looking person?" And he goes, "Ah." Like they never bring it up again. I thought that that was great. Like having him in there is that more comedic element, especially when Jack Quaid is texting him and calling him throughout this whole adventure too. And he's like, "Dude, you better be calling me from jail or from a hospital
Yeah,
because I
don't
don't want
get
to
me
be."
involved. Don't get me involved in this. And then, of course, he gets like, fuck it, I'll be involved in
Well,
this.
he's like, "You're already involved. I already called you before, so you're involved in this whole thing."
Well, it's funny too that like in the scene where they get the jump on that guy, who caught him in the trap in the house, how like he's acting like when the cops are there, like, oh my god, like I can't be here, blah, blah, blah. But like, dude, you already helped Jack Quaid murder this guy. Like, what do you mean? You're already
Yeah.
cooked, dude. The minute you walked into that house, you were cooked. So I don't know why you're worried about it now. But I mean, I think that's kind of like the whimsy of it, right? But
I mean, that leads into such a crazy ending too, where at the end of the movie, Jack Quaid he's like in a hospital bed and he's been in a medically induced coma and he's like all strung up and like the typical
literally
stuff
the
where it's
SpongeBob meme, dude. Literally the
yes,
guy in the hospital, like.
glass bones and paper skin and his heart attacks put him to sleep every night. It was literally just like that. And which has some of the worst CGI I've ever seen of Jack Quaid just from like here up, like neck up it's Jack
looks
Quaid
like
and
looks like a Walking Dead zombie or something. Like whatever had some weird, like what do you call it, like a filter. It was like weird.
yeah, it didn't look right. It looked like some sort of like weird green screen or something where they got like just from the neck up,
Uh
and then
huh.
beyond that, it's just like it almost feels like it's a Photoshop of like a someone in a body cast.
Mm-hmm.
but they have the female cop show up, which leads to when I first heard it, I thought it was ridiculously stupid, but you've kind of convinced me that the ending is actually great, where she's like reading off his charges to him while while he's like all strung up. She's like, "Well, you know, you stole a cop car, you stole an officer's service weapon, you committed like triple homicide, you had you,
Manslaughter, thank you
yeah,
very much. Only
ma-
manslaughter.
manslaughter, grand theft auto, like all this stuff." And she goes, "But you had some good character witnesses, and your
And you
white,
saved the
yeah,
cop's life.
and you saved a cop's life." And she goes, "And you're white and work at a bank, so you're getting 6 months probation, 6 months house arrest."
Like, if you weren't convinced this movie was a comedy or at that point, it's like, damn, like, nah, dude, they're playing this on the nose. But literally, the fact that him and Sherry get like light sentences because they both respectively saved cops' lives. Because you have him, he saved the cop with the tourniquet when he stole the cop car, and then she obviously um, saved her life in the when they were driving to go catch up to, Jack Quaid and whatnot. So like it's just really funny. I mean, she actually had to go to jail for an extent. He only had to do house arrest, which like,
But
he's
she was
chilling.
directly involved in all this, and she got 8 months.
Well, well because she saved the cop's life. And see, that's where I'm like, oh my god, like this movie's fucking with me, dude. Like, come on.
I love that turn to her. She's like, "Well, you're looking at a sentence, like a life sentence of double my age," and he's like, "Yeah." And then she goes, "But," and it's an immediate. It's not even like they don't even let it sit. She's like, "But you did this, so who cares?"
But
She's like,
you've
"Who
won
cares?"
how to be a millionaire, whatever it's called. I just completely fucked that reference up. But anyways.
No, I think you're right. It's
Or
the
Who
same thing. Yeah,
Wants to Be a
be a
Millionaire?
millionaire.
God
Yeah,
damn it. I can never do anything right. But yeah, no, like when they the fact they didn't even let it breathe, she's like, "Oh, you could be going to jail for longer than you'd ever want to be. But here's more."
I
Like,
can't tell if we're like reading into this movie or if it's actually like that deep.
no, I think we're on the right track, but then I don't know. We also forget actors' names every movie, including the fact that um, I for I think I forgot Hugh Jackman's name in the middle of when we were recording earlier, so that was depressing. But anyways, I remember though. Just for those viewers who you'll see it later. But anyways, yeah, no, just like I don't think we're reading too far into it. I think we're on the right track.
I
I
mean,
think.
it was a lot better. Like, I remember when this came out that this is something I was like, "Oh, interesting. I like Jack Quaid. You know, it seems like an interesting film to go see." And then just kind of forgot about it. So I'm
Hmm.
super glad you brought it up because it's something I wanted to see. And then I was like, "Am I gonna go see? I don't know."
Definitely not something that I was, like, running to go to theaters to. I mean, I think I would have enjoyed like, I definitely thought about it, but I was like, "Eh." But now I'm like, "Damn, I kinda wish I did." But, I
I
mean,
know.
it was a fun movie.
I wish I actually saw it in theaters because I feel like it'd be a fun theater going experience for this. So I'm like, I wish I could go back in time and watch that because that's just so much more fun seeing it on big screen with all of that.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, even, like, on the TV we watched, it was, like, great, but, I mean, on a big screen, oh my god, like, the craziness, I don't know, man. I would have, like, probably had, like, sensory overload, a panic attack, all of the above. You do the hokey pokey and you shake it all about. But anyways, so, like, God, I don't know. I was very pleasantly. I had a feeling it was going to be solid, but I was like pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed it. And I'm like disappointed that it was only like a moderate, like it doubled like it made double the budget in box office, but like not much more. And like I wish more people saw it. I'm sure it's a big hit on streaming now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure a lot more people are going to see it, and that's kind of the problem when these movies go to streaming so quickly without being in theaters for too long. It's that kind of balance.
Well, to be fair, this movie did come out in March 14th, 2025, but it's probably been on streaming for a while. Not to
Oh
like
yeah,
not to be like the well, actually guy to you, but like, I'm just saying. Damn, wait, we're almost coming up on the year anniversary of this movie. It came out on March 14th. What the fuck? We didn't even mean to do
oh
that.
my god,
That's crazy.
what?
Well,
Look at that.
at the time of this recording, we're right ahead of that. So, look, who would have
God,
thought?
we are so smart.
Not us.
Look at us. Look at us. But I don't know. I thought this was a flick. You know, it's not
Yeah.
something that I would like urge people to be like, "Oh, you have to go watch it right now."
Mhm.
But if you're looking for a movie on streaming and you're having a date night, whatever, and you're trying to figure out what movie you're going to watch, if you can both agree to an action movie, it's a good one. It's got some great comedic moments to it, so I think it's something for everybody. Well, obviously not kids, but like it's something for like couples and people who want to just watch a solid movie, kind of shut your brain off.
Yeah. No, I'm inclined to agree. I mean, I'd call it a flick as well. If you're into some really zany, really out there action, but also like something that's like lighthearted too at the same time. Definitely a great one to check out. I'd recommend it, as well. If you're trying to chill with the boys, maybe watch a movie with your significant other, whatever floats your boat. I mean, it's definitely it's a chill movie, and honestly, I'd probably watch it again. So, which I can't always say there's always rewatchability for some of the movies we watch. Well, definitely not the flops, but well, except for Hubie Halloween, but that's a different story. Hubie Halloween might become a tradition for me. I can't lie.
That
That movie was an out of body experience. I think I actually felt like my soul was like watching over me during that. But no, it definitely no, but definitely a flick. I would say like I recommend it.
and I think that's gonna do it for this one here. But I think we're just gonna be looking for some next movies that we're gonna watch. So who knows what's coming up on this
Yeah,
one
it's been
now?
rough in theaters, so pray for us. Hopefully, we find something to watch in theaters at Chunky's in Manchester, New
Oh,
Hampshire.
hopefully we don't
Um,
have to watch Hopper or Hoppers in theaters. Oh my god.
oh my god, I heard like that one of the twists of that is that like the big bad corporate guy you think is the villain isn't, and it's really some animal that has a misguided vision to kill him to like preserve nature. But like, yeah, dude, if that doesn't already make you disinterested, then I
That's
don't
like
know what
root for the
does.
big CEO. He's the good guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go Palantir. Yeah, like
It kind of reminds me of the remember in South Park when they had the whole thing of they were making fun of people like banning books and they had Butters read to Catcher in the Rye.
yes,
And then
yes.
he finishes it and he goes, "Must kill John Lennon." And he gets a rifle and he goes, "Dad, where's John Lennon live?" And he goes, "Butters, John Lennon is dead for like 30 years." He goes, "Oh," and just goes back into his room.
Oh man. Well, thanks for watching, folks, and hopefully we catch you at a movie real soon. But if not, we'll hit you with some streaming magic. Till then.